Hello and welcome to Flashback, the games you loved, the stories you forgot. And as always, it's me, RGT, and I'm just going to give him the simple intro this week because he is an absolute legend in the podcast world. The CEO, the lead presenter, the god of gaming. It is UCP George. How are you today, George?
Simple as simple does. I like the intro. That appeals. Not that after bit, that schwaddle. I wanted it simple. Then you flowered me in platitudes, the liking of which I don't deserve. But
you do deserve all of it. You deserve.
No,
all
I
of
don't
it.
deserve it, but I'm going to wear them anyway, like medals.
If it weren't for the UCP and your foresight to invent a podcast, none of this would be here. We wouldn't be friends. We wouldn't have the community. We wouldn't have the Discord. We wouldn't have Flashback, what we're on now. So, yeah.
Put 1,000 monkeys in a room, RGT. Listen, I'm hyped up. We got a special episode here.
We have got a special episode, yeah, and that's because the popularity of the last one. We done
How are you?
10 games to play. I'm very well.
I ought to now inversely shower you in platitudes, but I actually think that we ought to save time and just get straight to the meat.
I think you're right. There's not many things you could think of, so I wouldn't worry. So the PS2 one done really well. We've done 10 games to purchase when you first, or top 10 games to buy when you first purchase a PS2. We're now going to do that again, but we're going back a little further here. We're going back quite a way. We're going to the Mega Drive / Genesis for our friends across the sea. So we're going to get 5 games each we think you should purchase if you just get into collecting for that system nowadays.
Mate, I'm itching like I fell in the nurse's bin because I've had to go in the loft and there's a little bit of a crazy amount of loft insulation up there, pal. I just can't stop itching and scratching all over me, but I've got the gold down.
Brilliant. Yeah, this is good. This is a good one. And again, that was one of them where, like the PS2, when we first agreed to do this one, we said, right, we'll do Mega Drive / Genesis. Started looking through the shelves of the Mega Drive games, thinking, right, well, I could start pulling them forward. That one. Then you think, yeah, there's quite a lot there we could actually pick. So picking 5 is quite tough. There's a lot on this system.
I've tried to be eminently sensible as well, although we've run these through the computer after picking them, and we're a little bit hesitant to bring them forward. But there are some left field choices on this system because of the amount of games that there are. But as you say, and as you said in the last episode, and as you said this episode, these are the ones that we think you are going to enjoy or get the most mileage out of when you first get the console, right?
Yeah, and remember as well, me and George, we sort of got our Mega Drive collections quite a few years ago. So, the prices were a little bit different then, and they have shut up and they have started to come down. We've spoke about this on the show with that sort of demographic who got the disposable income, who got the Mega Drive collection because they had it as a kid, is moving on a bit now. There's more the PS1 collectors and people are moving up the generation. So it's a bit different now. So some of these are a little expensive, but some of them have come down quite a lot. Don't you think, George?
Absolutely, my good fellow. What more can I say about that? Yeah, the price has walked up slightly. I think, as you say, we see certain people exit, and that has seen some games, in my opinion, tumble. Without too many spoilers, I've got an EA-produced title here, and you have as well, that's actually come down to what I would call reasonable value for a retro console.
Definitely.
So there are games here that that are definitely eminently affordable, and I would say RGT's a number cruncher. He's gone and done the cart-only numbers on these as well, because I think if you just start collecting for a system, you can have these loose in a drawer. You're playing them at first, right?
Exactly, yeah.
As you develop more of an interest in them, swap those out, trade in and upgrade for a boxed version or whatever you want to do. RGT, before we spin off, you've got some or had some experience of some loose cart kind of multi-fit adapter boxes. So even if you've got loose carts, you can get these collector cases. Give the listener a little bit of that if they end up going down the loose cart route, because they can save themselves without going down the full official route, can't they?
Yeah. These are universal cases. You can buy them online. Obviously, the more you buy, the cheaper they are. But they have a multi-fit system in. So I think you can do N64, Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, Master System. They got all the different shapes. You can click.
What about EA Mega Drive? Will it take that?
Yeah, with the little yellow tab. I think they do.
Just
because
a
you
bit
could,
taller, a bit more aggressive,
yeah,
aren't they?
you go that way or that way. I think they do. But there used to be a thing online called the Cover Project. You could go on there and people would upload either Mega Drive covers, the Genesis covers, or custom covers. So you could have your own custom covers, and they line up like little videos on your shelf. Now, I used to have over 100 of these for my loose cartridges. The reason I changed is because I didn't have the room. So I've gone down to loose cartridges and bought some 3D printed racks for them. That's what I've done. But you can go down this route and buy these. Now, I don't think the cover project is still running, but it's so easy nowadays. If you Google the size measurements of a Mega Drive cover case, you can find them, do it on your computer, size it up to the millimeter, and you can print out and slide them in the front. Now, even if they're matte finish on paper, they still have that glossy finish because you got the sleeve, so they do look quite glossy. So it's actually it's a really good way if you want that uniform video look to them. They're really good. What I
Top
will say,
tips from the UCP Flash
yes, top
UB
tips.
world here,
Yeah, if you
RGT.
want any help with that, or find it a bit weird or never heard of these before, email us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com, or hop on our Discord, or jump on the our website, or even we're on Instagram on Retro
Hey, I
Game
don't want
Grumps
to
on
throw anyone
Instagram.
under the bus in the Discord, but if people join the Discord with this particular issue, I
Mm.
would say quite a few people would rush forward to
Yes,
help them.
without
Damn near
doubt.
make it easy for them.
Yeah, we've got some big Mega Drive collectors in there, and like people like Digital Monkeys collected the whole movie set of all the movie tie-in games and things like that. So yeah, there's plenty of people with plenty of experience with that. Um, and I will just say before we start, what I have noticed price-wise when we were researching this, I noticed the games like pixel games have come back. Your pixel beat 'em ups have come back. On your Switch or your PS5. Them games have risen in price. The retro beat 'em ups, and because that style's a bit back in, but you find
Agreed.
your big sort of big heavy hitters, a lot of the heavy hitters on the Mega Drive that you would always think straight away. If you think back to a Mega Drive, oh, I'd have that, I always had that. They've all sort of dipped off, but the ones that are in fashion a bit in a minute are spiking. But mostly, most of these are very affordable. Do you want to go first, George, with your first pick?
Yeah, let's get stuck in there. Before we do, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping because
Yeah,
if you're
sure.
here because you're into Mega Drive Genesis, over on the main channel, Unofficial Controller Podcast, we did interview a very prolific and almost celebrity, I would say, Mike Rouse, aka Retro Gamer Boy on YouTube, is trying to track down a full PAL set, and I do mean everything. So please go check that episode out because there's more collecting, storing, and restoring tips there. But straight out the gates, RGT, the first game I would like to bring to this party for the Mega Drive Stroke Genesis is Road Rash 2 by EA. Now, when I first, obviously as a kid, I was aware of Road Rash.
Mm,
I played it around bigger boys' houses, was always kind of came away from it sort of impressed. It's an into the screen racing game. It does have sort of hills and hollers in it, so in corners obviously, but they're done in that classic into the screen style. Road Rash handles it particularly well. It feels almost 3D on the Mega Drive, especially Road Rash
very
2 and its
clever.
implementation. Very, very cleverly done. Your areas are kind of loosely themed around North American sites. So if you're in like a wooded area, you're going to pass some moose on the side of the road. It's kind of okay. One of my takeaways from Road Rash 2 when I played it more recently as an adult is the music is absolutely perfect. Everything about that gives you that real gut punch Sega Genesis chip tunes music. They've nailed it in Road Rash. It brings forth that rock aesthetic, makes you feel like an absolute hero as you crest those hills, chasing down your next opponent. Controls wise, Road Rash 2 is very easy.
Hmm.
Obviously, you've got go and stop right, but then you've also got attack. You can collect different weapons along the way, and that I know the name of the game is Road Rash, and therefore it's suggested, and the box art suggests you can club each other with weapons. You absolutely can. I found the best method is just to get your head down and just gun it. I don't know about you, RGT, but I tend not to get involved in the fracas and I just race.
I'm always too tempted because you'll find that bloke that's had a little kick out at you as he's gone past. I think you're marked, son.
Hmm.
Viper. I remember for you, Viper. You're marked. Oh, I've picked up a chain. Here comes
I
Viper.
just realised that you're the Wheelstone Raider of video games.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You want some?
You want some? Do you want some? Um, yeah. I've the thing that got me a road rash.
I'll
I
give
love.
it to you.
Yeah, yeah. You want some? Um, the thing with road rash is I'd played Super Hang On. Um,
Oh, that
loved
is
that.
good though. Yeah.
It was good. And then my friend had road rash, played it round his, and then I was just like, "Whoa, hang on, there's a bit of a story to this." And then I
Yeah.
thought, "Hold on, you can upgrade on
Yeah.
the
Well, I was
first."
about to get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then not only that, you can club people. I was just like, "This is like," it almost felt to me like, "Is this game allowed? Are they allowed to play put this
Yeah, it
game?
did. I think
Speed and
at the
violence,
time,
police, you
yeah,
know."
edgy rock music. You could argue it was
Mm,
sailing the white hot edge of what is decent, and for that reason was probably bought or wished for by many an underage kid. You could argue it was
mm.
part of the shtick of selling it. There were no ratings on games at this point in time. You could get away with blue murder.
Well, I think to me, because I love Cannonball Run, and this always reminded me of a motorcycle Cannonball Run. So I always
Yeah,
imagined
it's
I was
got that
in
feeling to
Cannonball.
it.
Yeah.
You've obviously got to negotiate the police while you go, and as RGT hinted as well, you collect money up for your race performance. With that money, you can either upgrade the bike that you've got or
Mm,
roll that into a newer bike, which then
mm,
can be further upgraded. So the levels of upgrade or modification that can be applied along the way are incredible.
mm,
The ability to kind of do it your way, are totally open to you. I love Road Rash 2,
mm.
and I don't want to rock the boat too hard, RGT, because hey, hey, I'm here to rock the boat. You know what? Controversy sells the internet. Is Road Rash 2 the best game on
Um,
Mega Drive?
it's got to be up there. Depending on your tastes, it's got to be up there because I'd never played anything like this. I played racing games. I played Chase HQ,
Yeah.
Spy Hunter. I played racing games, but I hadn't played a racing game where you could do all this and it had that movie feel. You felt like you were breaking the law. And then the first time you hit a laying down cow and you use it as a ramp, I mean, it
Mm.
was just absolutely
Well, to be
fantastic.
fair, mate, I mean, you make another good point there. You know, it's easy to gloss over these things, but the details that were here in this game is if you hit something on your bike or got knocked, you tumbled off, and the crash animation, much like Super Hang-On, actually looked quite
Mm.
realistic.
Oh, did
You
you?
have to cross the road. Let's say you get parted from your bike, and I've got very frustrated with this game over this, but you got to doff your
Oh,
cap to it.
if
Mm.
you if you wipe out when you're doing a bit of lick, you're a long way from that bike.
But worse, mate, if you have to cross the road, you're
Yeah.
probably going to get run down three times before you get there. Your guy's all confused, flashing invincibility, stands up. Wow, pow, another one. Like, oh my God, give me a break.
Do you know what I really
Um,
did love with that though? This is a minor thing, but I think if you're really into your games, this is a great little technique they done. If you lose you'll come off your bike, right? Say you're going really fast, like I said, a bike slides 500 yards down the road. You get up and you have to run after your bike. After a while, you hear a faint noise of the engine just ticking over. And the closer you get, the louder the engine gets as you get closer to your bike. And I just thought,
mm,
for a little Mega Drive game, that's quite clever. That's a good technique. And I used to love that because I could just hear you'd just hear a little bup, 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 bup in the distance. You're like, oh no, my bike's miles away. So you keep running and keep trying to get closer so you can hear that louder engine. But yeah, what a game. I mean, yeah, there's obviously three versions on the Mega Drive, one, two, and three. All good. But yeah, Road Rash 2 is
yeah,
fantastic. I
for
mean,
me, like I've dabbled with one, I've dabbled with three. Obviously, I loved two so much, had to get them all. Gotta catch 'em all. Wow, Road Rash 2. But two is the one that I always circle back to. Three, yeah, take it, leave it. One, take it, leave it. Two, sweet spot, nailed every time.
no, I think you're
And
right. Yeah.
and when I put it up there, and the only reason why I dare voiced it up to the idea that it could be number one, only because if you have something like Sonic in there, yeah, Sonic deserves to be there. But it's locked behind the frustration of the gameplay of a 16-bit 90s platformer. And you could hop into Road Rash, slap the cart in, turn it on, press A, and you're going down the road.
Mm,
There's no guarantee a modern gamer is going to get to the end of Sonic level.
mm.
There's always something to be had from that. Some of these other beat 'em ups, you're going to have some fun within them, but it, Road Rash 2, pick it straight up and go. You
Hmm.
don't need to learn any combos or anything
No,
ridiculous. It's
and
immediately playable and fun.
yeah, and I think if you judge it on what you would a game, so you think music was really good,
Yeah.
gameplay really good, controls fantastic, the little story arc is good. You've got upgrades which are good, and they're not stupidly expensive, but there's some things that just out of reach. You have that dilemma. Do I save? Do I make this
Game's
bike
got
quicker?
cutscenes, dude.
Yeah,
16-bit
yeah. Oh,
cutscenes.
yeah. And it's got that cheesy sort of cut scenes to it. It's really good. Road Rash went off on a bit of a spiral once we got to 3D and things, but Road Rash
Hmm.
2. Should I do some prices while we're on it
Yeah, I
there?
think I've waxed lyrical enough about a bargain basement bin and tried to foist it up as the best game on Mega Drive.
No, I don't
Um,
think you're wrong at all. Because I mean, this is another plus in this armor. Because if you want that box complete, you can pick it up for as little as £10 to £12. If you want that cartridge only, look at sort of £4 to £6. But for boxed being that cheap for a game that is that good,
make
th-
that your
you
first, make that your first game. Box
exactly.
complete.
And also, there's many games on these older systems which are like the trophy games. You're probably not going to play them, but you've got it. Oh, I've got this, I've got that for the system. This game is one you're going to play, even if you're a modern gamer. You're going to put this in, you're going to play it, and you're going to have fun with this because it's brilliant. People have tried replicating this over the years with different motorcycle combat games, but no one's done it as good as Road Rash 2, not as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely brilliant choice. Yeah, that's a brilliant one to start with, George.
What you got then, mate? What's your next? What's your first one?
I've gone a bit. I say I've gone a bit boring. I've gone with what I think you should get, which is my favourite version of the series, and that is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Um,
Mm.
Sonic 1, I always have a lot of nostalgia. I have a
Yeah.
lot of memories of firing up my 16-bit in my bedroom on my Orion portable TV.
It's not quite as powerful as the Master System, though, is it?
Oh no,
RGT,
that
let's
is
face
that
it.
is the creme de la menthe. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. I
um,
love how I'm going to get stick for that now. George, in
yeah.
today's episode, sound timestamp blah. You said that the Master System. Get in the Flashy B back catalogue. That's
Yeah,
all I'm
listen to
saying.
Christmas special, you'll see why. Um, but and I loved Sonic. That just going from Master System to a Mega Drive, seeing the graphics, seeing the games, the music, everything was brilliant. And then Sonic 2 come along, and I'd saved up. I got Sonic 2 brand new, because obviously my Sonic 1 was a pack-in, but buying a brand new game was brilliant. Breaking this, the cellophane off is absolutely brilliant. Um,
Mate, you need to be
and
careful because we're gonna get brought up in an algorithm because the
why?
way
What
you
have I said?
said
No.
the way you said Masonic sounded like you said Masonic, as
Oh,
in
no, I think that you're definitely on the wrong podcast if that's what you're tuned in for. Uh, um, but Sonic 2, and then you had the added hold down, you had the added spin, you had tails added in, and it just took it to the next level. And I remember playing this game thinking, this is probably one of the best platformers I've ever played. I thought it was,
Mm.
and I still think that to this day. I like Mario's. I've never really been a hardcore Mario fan. I've always liked Sonic. I love the speed of Sonic. And there was just something about Sonic 2, the levels, and even when you'd done the bonus stages in sort of the half tube, like a faux 3D. But at the time, it was just like, whoa, we're getting. I've never seen graphics like this before.
Oh, 100%,
You
mate.
know,
Yeah.
and when you're in like the chemical zone where you'd get under the water and you're trying to find the bubbles.
The
Yeah,
music, mate, in the
trying to
chemical,
find my way
honestly.
round. It was quite a maze on there and double and
Hmm.
back and getting the little ramps. And everything I always think was, you could tell it was a first party game because you'd have like when you were running out of air and you get and you're looking for the air bubbles. And then when he gets the air
Mm.
bubble, he has that little animation and he goes, whoop, where he inhales the air and you're off again. It's so good. And every little detail, a bit like Road Rash, every little part of the game that they tried to do worked. Now, I know
Oh,
there's,
you know, I know I voiced Road Rash up there, mate, and in some ways I still believe it to be the most immediately playable and therefore definitely in consideration. Sonic 2 is
and the thing
it's
is
a
as
work of
well,
freaking art, mate.
yeah, I mean, Sonic Mania, look how well that done. And that is just a 16-bit version, different levels of Sonic games put into one, changed a bit, and is still as popular as anything. You know, yes, it's 16-bit, but it hasn't aged. Anyone can play this nowadays. Anyone can go on this and not go, oh, that's dated and old.
Mm.
They wouldn't because these 2D games are still about. They're still kicking around as people are still releasing 2D platformers. And this is one of the very best, I think. I've got a great history with it. I think it's a must buy from day one, especially as a Sega themselves. And he was the icon of Sega at the time. What about you? Do you have many memories of Sonic 2? Was that a
Oh,
game you got early on
so
or?
so many. I didn't get it early on. I saw it, wanted it, dreamed about it, read about it, touched every game every time I could get my hand on it at a friend's or whatnot. It would be my go-to game. I remember being an Atari ST owner when the tsunami that was Sonic Tuesday hit the shores here in the UK. It
Mm,
was everywhere. He was on the side of buses,
mm.
he was on Formula One cars. He was the real
Because
deal.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
for a while he was looking like he was gonna dethrone Mario. You know, it felt like it had that wave behind it. When Sonic 2 hit the shores and we saw, as RGT alluded to, the faux 3D levels, and this was right in the midst of the UK sort of Sega TV advertising
Mm,
gimmick as well,
mm.
that was all fast, flashy images. You imagine some fast-paced cut shots of the chemical zone, and you've with the white Sega and that skull and crossbones logo that they had at the time. That was a license to print money, RGT. That literally looked like cool itself walking off his screen. I haven't even got to the game yet.
Mm.
You've stole like a few of the points I would talk about, like the animation, the fact that this really is, a game. I think Sonic Team, Sega Technical Institute,
And
call it what you
also,
like, but
Mark Cerny was involved in
I
this
was
as
going to
well.
say Mark Cerny's involvement in this and a few other games really is you could say, a hallmark of his ability or his overreach as a project manager. I super impressed by Sonic 2, probably Mark Cerny on the back step there on that one, but certainly everything about it, as you say, is first class. It feels very, very good production values, considering, as you say, it's a game that's got to be at least what, getting on for 35 years old.
Mm, mm.
Looks as crisp as the day it was made. The first time that you sort of bob Sonic down and whiz him up in that sort of holding still speedball phase where you kind of pull down on the D-pad and whiz,
Oh,
whiz, whiz him up, that feels great. And don't forget, this is Sonic 2, the sequel to Sonic 1. So what did Sega do? They added two playable characters in, didn't they? Now, there's a lot to be said about Tails, Miles Tails Power, as is his full name.
hmm.
The kid's absolutely great. He's probably one, especially when Sonic 2 came out, he was like the icon. He was the thing that everyone was drawn to, this fox with two tails that could fly by spinning his tails into a helicopter. Now, I don't really have much value for this, but I'm sure you do, RGT. There was many a time, I think I was maybe the sales player at this point in time in my gaming career, where bigger boy would play and then hand you the second controller to play as Tails. But do you know what? It doesn't really matter if you stand still or what, because we're all good here. Sega will make this look slick.
Hmm.
And even as a kid with the controller upside down or probably three-quarters of it in your mouth, it's all still happening,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
And you gotta say, it felt great to work through one of these Sonic titles together. And then RGT, probably back to you with a little bit more experience of it, allowed you to kind of move forward together in a more productive way, almost kind of shortcut the
Yeah.
levels of it
And
if
I
you
mean,
work
even
together
the
well.
thing that I loved as well, even when you played single player and Tails was with you, you had that added benefit that if you're fighting a boss, he'll mirror what you do, but just a second after. So you jump at Dr. Robotnik and you Tails donks him as well. So you got that double power and you feel, oh yeah, he's helping me out, you know. It's almost like an NPC in the game has come with you to fight along. And I always loved that. I thought it was brilliant.
He's aesthetically very pleasing as well.
Yeah. And
The
you know,
design on Sonic and Tails is out of this world.
yeah, superb artwork. The pixel artwork is absolutely, fantastic. And also, you got to remember with the the popularity of Sonic. Sonic really hit the ground running on the Mega Drive. It's absolutely brilliant. And a lot we always say it's the hard second album. What you
Oh,
do, you
yeah.
know, you make the levels bigger, you make them better, you add a character in, you add all this new music in.
Hey, mate, if you look at it compared to Nintendo, they absolutely bobbed themselves and bought Doki Doki Panic and did a reskin
Mm. Yeah,
for the US market,
yeah,
right? It was years later when we got Lost Levels.
yeah,
They absolutely bobbed it and gave us an absolute cop out. So their second album was a car crash. Mario 3 saved it,
yeah, yeah.
but in between, it didn't look great. So Sega looking really good at this point.
And also the thing was, with the popularity of the early Mario games, Sega needed a platformer, but they didn't just clone it. We need something different. What do we need? Well, rather than doing precision platformer, let's go for speed. Let's go for bright colours, big sprites. Let's go for that. And that's what they've done. And Sonic 2 is that is the je ne sais quoi of the Sonic games, I think, anyway. I think that's the one to play. I think it's the one to
Mm.
get.
I think it starts to drift a little bit with 3. You do get some added
Yeah.
functionality thrown back in if you put this into the lock-on Sonic and Knuckles cart, right?
Yes,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's not really.
No, they going forward. They every game they seem desperate to really must add something. We must change it. We must make it 3D, faux
Classic
3D. Yeah,
Sega.
and
Yeah.
they went a bit too far. As if you actually just kept 2D Sonic games running, but in different worlds. We've all seen with games like Castlevanias and Metroids, and they could be just as popular. Just give us a different setting and a different story, and we're all in on it. We'll play it. So yeah, they went a bit off piece, but Sonic 2 is peak for me. Price wise, if you want box complete
Yeah,
Sonic,
what we're looking at.
you're looking at about £8 to £10 box complete. You could pick a cartridge up for £2 to £4 for Sonic
Ooh,
2.
it's criminal that. So that's your
It is
second box
criminal.
complete game for your collection because you might as well not mess about there.
Yeah, and it's with
Mate, the box art's iconic for Sonic 2 as well.
oh, it's absolutely stunning. And when we were at Bristol, the guy who done the box art was there, and he was selling prints. Scott bought one, our fellow presenter on Unofficial Controller podcast, Marathon Gaming on YouTube. He bought one of the ones that he'd done, one of the prints that they didn't use. So slightly different with Dr. Robotnik coming out of the mist in the background over
That's
Sonic.
cool.
Very good. Yeah, and he was there selling all these prints and that. Really good. Iconic artwork. Absolutely stunning. I love the way the two has like the grid of the levels, like the dirt, the levels on the back of it. And yeah, absolutely brilliant. So your first two games, we're saying you should get Road Rash 2 and Sonic 2. You got plenty of gaming hours in there with
You
those two.
sorted there. Well, I'm gonna mix things up a little bit this time. I'm gonna come at you, if I may be so bold, RGT. You mentioned it earlier. Mark Cerny was involved in something called Sega Technical
That's it.
Institute,
He certainly was.
aka STI, Sexually Transmitted Infection. Nice name, Mark. Well done. Shooting for the shooting for the stars there, pal. Anyway, the game that they developed was an interesting title. Came late in the Sega's lifetime, from my memory, although RGT correct me on that. It's a game. It's a Blue Spine game again. It's Comic Zone by Sega themselves, as I say. Now, in this, for me, RGT, as soon as I first saw about this game, and I think I first saw about it on Bad Influence, I knew I had to have it. Now, it took me a
Hmm.
few years then to get a Mega Drive and track down Comic Zone and get it. But I tell you one thing I was not, and that's disappointed. I think you play as a character called Sketch Turner. I think he's an artist. Work with me here. And you get zapped into the page, and you're a character in your own book, I think, from memory. Anyway, that's regardless. You're playing across the street. You're playing across the panes of comic book as an action character. So you hit and punch and swing your way through. Every now and then, this omnipotent hand will come down and draw in baddies and change the level a bit around you. And that really is the gameplay gimmick that you're shooting for. In terms of action games on the Mega Drive, this one's not only coming at it with probably one of the most unique gimmicks that I've ever seen, but it's coming at it with some really great fisticuffs gameplay, RGT, that, is as matched as the other beat 'em ups that you find in this
Hmm.
genre. But this presents itself as an action game, the likes of which I don't think we got until a bit later on in the 3D universe. There's a strong story there propelling you along through the cartoon panes with the speech bubbles, etc. Lots of lovely details in the background. This pixel art's really doing some hard yards in terms of selling the concept of you kind of walking through a cartoon with ripped paper and little torn edges as you drop through. And then when you get to the end of a pane, you drop down to the bottom pane and work from right to left. I
So
mean,
good.
the idea of what they're doing is first class and the execution the same. In terms of a showpiece of what the Mega Drive or Genesis can do, you could do no wrong than slapping Comic Zone. If someone was expecting you to turn it on, it looked like Pong. You turn it on and slap in Comic Zone, and there'll be a few collective jaws need swooping up off the floor. From memory, I remember it having a really killer soundtrack, really great aesthetic, and I enjoyed every single minute I played of it. RGT, hit me up with your memories and then seduce me with the price of this because I'm hoping this is a cheap game.
Um, Hmm. Um, Comic Zone, when obviously when we were younger, you had your console, you needed to trade that bad boy in to get your next one. So it was later on, as most people do, that people, collectors like me and George got collected. I got my Mega Drive. Once I got my Mega Drive and just had that nostalgia wave, and I kept thinking, what games did I see back in the day that I couldn't get, but I'd really like now?
Yeah,
And
that's the methodology I use.
yeah, first one was Road Rash. And Sonic's always there. Road Rash was there. And then I kept thinking, what was that other game in the comic? So I Googled comic, and then it come up Comic Zone. And I was like, that's the one, spelt with an X, Comic Zone, gonna get it. Now, it was really cheap when I bought it. And I played it straight away as soon as I bought it and I started collecting and just thought, how unique is this game? They've really thought outside the box, but not only tried something different, they actually pulled it off. The going between the comic book strips and the pages and dropping down to levels and having that fight and then moving on to the next. It's tough. I mean, we've had it as a challenge accepted as one of our challenges on the Unofficial Controller Podcast Discord. And that was brilliant to see how people got on with that. But just for the unique factor, because I've never played a game like this since. It was to play for a comic book, I just think is so unique. And you think someone might have tried to replicate that since, but as far as I know, I don't think anyone has. But also, like you
I
say,
think people have used a similar vein, but then explored it through 3D. What makes Comic Zone so unique is the
yes,
smashing through the white panel joints
it's
that link
brilliant.
these panels together.
Yeah,
Such a good idea.
and graphically superb. You are in a comic book, really well done.
As I say, I would
Animations
argue,
are brilliant,
you would put this on to impress someone who came round to have a look at your Mega Drive, right?
without a
Even
doubt.
back in the day, definitely now. And I'm full of controversial opinions today. It's possibly one of, if not the best looking games on the system. Came late as well,
Oh,
Blue
without a doubt.
Spine.
Hmm. Yeah, without a doubt. I think if you're into collector now, and you'll get your standard games. We've got a few of them on here. Ones that we think that you should just pick up. They're a good price. You can have fun with them. They look great. They play great, and we try and cover different genres. But if you want something that's unique, well thought of, well regarded, plays really well, graphically stunning, then if you can, get Comic Zone.
RGT, tell me another game where you can slide kick a rat.
Exactly. That's a 10 out of 10 for me straight away. But and also there's little bits we have to work out to get out of the rooms as well, which is quite
Yeah,
clever.
and that's what there's a slight puzzle element that I referred to in the opening gambit,
Yeah.
unless I forgot. And that really is it, the navigation of the panels,
Yes.
all the escaping of the rooms. It's nothing too, you're not going to be struggling to get into Mensa with these bad boys, but sometimes it gives you and an R, doesn't it?
And also, if some of these games you find are a little expensive for what you'd want if you're on a budget, if you got a Nintendo Switch and you got online, some of these are on the online. I will
I
tell you.
think Comic Zone is.
Yeah, I'll tell you at the end all the ones that are on Nintendo Online. But yes, there is a few of these that are on there. So if you want to go and dab and play, if you've got a Switch at home, you've got online, go and have a go now. Go and have a play now because they still look brilliant.
The way
You
the
can.
lights hit in your face right now, you almost look very royal. You got the look of a Roman emperor about you.
Not sure about that, but Roman Emperor.
Yeah, yeah. You've got this
Wow.
sort of like authority. You've got the kind of hairs right. Yeah, it's perfect.
Oh, thank you very much.
No, it's all good.
Anyway, back to Comic Zone. um, yeah,
It might be
definitely.
the toga, to be fair. I mean, that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here.
I'm only comfortable at home if I'm in a toga. So you
I
know
know.
that.
I,
You know that.
I, this is one of the beauties of audio only shows over
Mm,
here on Flashy B. We get to sit in our comfy clothes.
exactly. Price wise, Comic Zone. Box copy is
Hmm,
pushing a little bit nowadays. When I bought my box copy, I think I paid £10 or £12 for it. Now,
20,
you're looking sort of
30.
45 to £60 for a.
Hmm.
But you can pick the cartridge up if you're just interested in playing a game. £10 to £12. You can pick the cartridge
Do
up
it. Do it.
and do it. Definitely do it.
Do it.
For the price of 2 pints of lager nowadays. You've got Comic Zone, which is one of the best looking games, if not the best looking game on a Sega Mega Drive. And you wouldn't have played anything like it, and it's so much fun. Definitely do it. Another absolutely stellar choice there. I think that is a brilliant, brilliant one. Comic Zone.
Okay. Well, what have you
Yeah.
brought to the table, good sir? What's next?
Well, what's next in the RGT pile of 16-bit goodness? I've hummed and hard with different games. I've brought this one in. People who know me or listen to UCP is going to go, "Oh, for God's sake, RGT! That's all you ever talk about this game." I know,
Oh,
but
no.
hear me out. The game I'm bringing next is Sensible Soccer. Um, basically because in
I
my
chose
mind,
another game that you had.
yeah, and also, but no, this I'd written a list of about 6 or 7 because I thought just in case we double up. But anyway, Sensible Soccer. The one I've got here is European Championship Edition. Um,
That's the one I've got.
yeah, I just think this game is a football game which is still being played today. In the original forms, they still have world championships of it, as like they do with kickoff. Back in the day, you're either a
Why
kick.
aren't you going forward for a Sensi World Championship?
Oh, I'm nowhere near that. I'm nowhere near that. I did. I
Mate,
must.
I would buy you, no, straight up. If you
I'm not
put
that good.
yourself forward for that, I will get you some, like, whatever were the best shin pads in the 80s. I'd buy you a pair of those.
The only
I'd
claim.
buy, I,
Sorry,
I'd
carry
buy
on.
you a pair of whatever football team you pretend to support socks from that era, from the 90s, 80s, 90s era.
Much of me in them little shorts.
I was going to let you put whatever clothes you wanted on, really. I was going to stop there.
Thank God for that. Thank you.
Yeah, but shorts is probably helpful to sell the shin pads. UCP shorts, and that's just a new add-in. And then what I've got written here on the script is a zip stick joystick, brand new, sealed in box from eBay.
Oh, I see if we've got to be a zip stick or a competition pro.
Oh,
Oh,
now
which
you're getting
one's?
picky.
Mm. But back
Which
to
one
the
would
game.
you choose? Competition Pro?
Competition pro. I like the
Okay.
I like the short.
Because what version did they play at the Sensi World Cup?
I think they play the
Amiga?
Amiga version.
So you want a zip stick?
Yeah, because there's a bit of a thumb killer getting the aftertouch on a D-pad. Some people still use D-pads and that, but I think most people would.
Well, you've been a while on. You haven't played Sensi with a stick in a while, though, right? So where would you? I want to field my best man in the best
Well,
way. I don't want you handicapped behind some. I don't want an excuse like, oh, I got through the final but I lost because it was on pad, mate. Like, get out.
well, funny thing is,
I'm like
uh,
King Jong-un.
when I
You either bring back a trophy or you're dead.
wow, this took a sinister turn. When I recently played sociable soccer and I managed to get number 2 on there, um, I would use the analog stick because I preferred it over the D-pad. So I sort of went back to almost that after touch with using a stick rather than a D-pad. So yeah, I'd have to use
So
yeah
this
either.
Sensi World Cup, what's the process of getting selected? What's the selection
Oh, I don't
process?
know. I think you have to do. I think they even play the Amiga version on PC, so you do elimination rounds to get through to the finals, which I believe are in Germany, I believe. I think, but
Straight up,
I'm not that
let's
good.
get this sorted.
I'm not good enough for
Let's
that.
get you over there. Let's make this a vlog for the UCP. How cool would it be
Oh, no pressure.
to send you to the Sensi World Cup? You can get through the selection process, pal. You
Oof,
played more
I'd have to put
Sensi
some
than some of
hours
these
back
people.
in.
They'll all be young kids. They don't know what Sensi is. They'll come in with a Mega Drive pad strapped to their head.
Anyway, back to the game. Very popular. Very. There's a lot of in depth in there. You know, if you want to play a league with your teams, you can go
Yeah.
through cup
You can manage
competitions.
as well, can't you, in this version?
I think you can. I think I can't remember which one it is, but you can also. I think it might have been the world one, but you could transfer players. One of the other versions. Um, but this is just so playable. I mean, it's a lot of games that came over from Amiga. Some done all right, some didn't. Sensible just went on everything after Amiga. I mean, you had Atari Jaguar ports, you had Mega Drive ports, you had Super Nintendo ports. Absolutely brilliant game. It's so in depth, it's so playable. Um, you've got your one stroke two buttons depending on how you play. It's just brilliant. The aftertouch is good. That's that fast action. You
The
can.
aftertouch was something that took me a lot of getting used to because as you're coming at goal, it was quite hard to not continue with that
Always come
direction
in at
once
an
you pressed
angle.
shoot.
Always
Mm.
come in, go out wide, come in at an angle, and then also not only do you have aftertouch, which is quite severe, so you can really curl it in the net. Not only
Like
that,
super severe.
yeah, you have loft as well. So if you roll round and so if you're facing down the pitch, because you're top down. If you're facing down the pitch, if you roll round and push up from a long distance, you'll loft an aftertouch. So you can do long range shots as well as shorter shots. So it's quite technical to how you learn to use a D-pad or joystick, but such great fun. And the thing I like is, you get your modern football games. Yes, they look pretty. Yes, they play well. But if you want to play a league system, by the time you've trained your players, done different bits and pieces. You get a couple of hours in, you only played two matches.
You
Sensible,
know
you
what
can
you
just
are,
get the
don't you?
games done, get them in, get them done in an afternoon. You can play half a league season. Superb. Absolutely brilliant. What's
You know
that?
what you are, don't you?
What?
You're a goal scoring superstar hero.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. When they introduced that, you could actually go online, find that song, and see the girl that they had, Kelly, I can't remember her name, singing it. You're a goal scoring superstar hero. Absolutely brilliant song.
So good, mate.
Yeah, and they also the guys at Sensible Software would star in the videos themselves as well. So you've got them running through and playing on a football pitch and just being, bit slapstick comedy, good fun, great game.
Good
Obviously
times.
they used it, similar with Cannon fodder, the same sprites and bits and pieces. But yeah, I would if you want a football game. I know people will
Doesn't this
say,
trace its roots all the way back to like Megalomania or something?
yeah, yeah, originally the engine and that they used and bits and pieces. Yeah, that's what it all comes from. And um, But in the day, you were either kickoff or you were sensible soccer. You were one or
Hmm.
the other. I played Super Kickoff, really enjoyed it.
What was that other one? That French game that French players game that was around at the time. Dino Dini's.
Dino Dini's
No,
goal.
was that what it was?
Well,
That had a little bit.
Dino Dini invented kickoff, and he split and went his own way, and then he done goal, which was a
Is that
very similar.
right?
Yeah, it was just very similar game. So Dino Dini's goal was really good on the Amiga, and then they brought out a couple on Mega Drive. I think they even done. I've got a PS4 one they done with a T-shirt, which didn't get it because the younger generation thought, oh, it's a new football game, I'll play it, and then had a lot of top down where you had to try and the ball didn't stick to your feet, and they hated it, and that bombed. But it's actually
Hmm.
because it was just literally the old game on the engine, but out of Kickoff and Sensible Soccer, for me, Kickoff's still a really playable game and great fun, but that panned right out view, the goals you can get, the league system, I just love Sensible Soccer. Um, if we go price wise, you're looking, if you want it boxed in really good condition, I would say between £20 and £30. This is European Championship one. I mean, mine's still got the original 39.99 on the on the box.
Wow.
Um,
That is the one I've got, by the way, as soon as you
yeah,
held it up for the camera.
yeah. If you want it loose, you could probably pick it up £8 to £10 if you just want cartridge only.
It's criminal.
It is criminal because for how much game you can have out of this is great fun. The European competitions and yeah, just
Gaz is in that one, isn't he?
yeah. Well, they've got the all the names are slightly changed, so
Yeah, but he's
it's
in it.
hilarious. Yeah, yeah. I can't remember how they. His name's spelt Paul. But that's Pool. That's Peul, and then it's like his Gascoigne spelt different in it,
Yeah.
Gascoigne or something. But yeah, brilliant.
There
You
was
can
a
have
few, the play on the names, all the different names that are in there were all quite fun, weren't they?
yeah,
So
yeah,
hey, listen, I'm not even a football guy, but even I had this, and I had this on Atari ST, and I even got it again on Mega Drive. You're right about Sensi is from a totally different era of football games.
hmm
But if you're a new gamer, you've decided to get a bit retro, you want to grab a football game, grab the latest version of FIFA. That'll feel familiar. But then do yourself a favor, grab this, persevere with it,
hmm
because in there is probably one of the greatest football games ever made. And that's me saying it,
yeah.
right? And I'm on the outside. So yeah, dust yourself off and grab a copy.
Is
RGT, I'm gonna.
I was just going to say, sorry, just bear in mind the game's 100 mile an hour and it'll be a bit confusing at first, but you'll get that one after touch goal that you'll put in the top corner from outside the box and it'll click and you'll think, right, I'm on this now. And it's brilliant fun, especially if you play with friends. Start
Hmm.
playing against people online. I know Mike Rouse, who's involved with obviously Retro Game Boy, who's involved with Ant Stream. They had Sensible Soccer on there, and that was one of their competitions where they edit the game a bit, and you have to do like high score challenges and that was brilliant. So you can even try it on there if you want. But yeah,
Oh,
definitely,
perfect.
definitely check out Sensible Soccer.
Well, I'm going to turn up RGT, if I may be so bold, with another Sega developed and produced game. This time, it's another sequel. RGT, it's Streets of Rage 2. Dude, what can I
Mm,
say about this game? Now, the first game, Streets of Rage 1, I recommend you go get that as well. But if you want the shining opus of them all, there's obviously Streets of Rage 3, which is infamously expensive. Not as much mileage there as this, so I think concentrate here on Streets of Rage 2. One thing you notice as soon as you start this up on the console is the leap between what was a great looking game in Streets of Rage 1 to this is night and day. Sprites are bigger, the action's more impactful, the music's more intense, the gameplay feels easier, the direction through the levels is entertaining, the different sort of variations of places that you go along the way is absolute rip snorter of a fun time. Three different characters to choose from on your way in the doors. Hey, do you know what? Just pick the one that you feel is the coolest or your mate hasn't picked. It really makes no difference to me in terms of how you play it.
yeah,
This game needs to be played with friends. I actually think it's a bit of a tough sell on its own. It feels a bit lonely and empty. Yeah, you'll have some fun with it, but as soon as you stick another controller into your Mega Drive Stroke Genesis, this game comes alive because when you start walking through this game with your buddy, it transforms it. Suddenly you're a cohesive unit working together back to back as you fight through these filthy streets. Everything that I ever thought the Mega Drive was as a kid, looking at the Mega Drive and not having one, everything about it was built around this niche cool of games like Streets of Rage 2. They look like arcade games that you could have at home. I'll be honest with you, a lot of the time Streets of Rage 2 looks better than the arcades that you were playing out at Skeggy or whatever, or your memory of them by the time you got home. It was built really as something to threaten or allow Sega to have a hand in the market against Final Fight. I actually think that they managed to go above and beyond what that game does, and I actually think it's a more rewarding play. I think it's more immediate in its joy factor. I mean, I can't wax lyrical about a game that really is involving you holding right and smashing the hell out the D-pad. But um, yeah, RGT, I'm going to rest it there because I presume you probably. I only had this game in retrospect as I picked a Sega up as an older guy, but
mm,
you had this, I presume, day and date, roughly,
mm.
when this game meant something on the street. Give me your historic lens on what this game meant back in the day. Because it
Um,
feels badass now. Quite how you felt owning this then.
I think
Unbelievable.
I've spoke before about Streets of Rage and my friend on here and on the other show as well. And when I first saw that, and like what I said with Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo, the hardest thing I always found that the devs had back in the day with the limited space they had on these cartridges was atmosphere. Now, Streets of Rage, and especially Streets of Rage 2,
Mhm.
they're you they want you to feel that you're fighting these horrible gangs in these horrible dirty back streets. You've got the streets look fantastic. The music really backs up what you're doing.
In
The
the city
sound of the
section, like the
fighting,
neon, dude, the
the
80s
neons.
neon
It was, cyberpunk before cyberpunk was cool. It was, and not only that, it was what Sega was. The Mega Drive was just this black console that looked cool, it looked mean, and what you put in it, you put Streets of Rage or Streets of Rage 2. The games were just brilliant with friends. They're brilliant on their own. You had friends who were playing Mario on their Super Nintendo, sitting on Yoshi's back, running around. These, you're in the streets. You're picking up drain pipes and smashing them over blokes'
you
heads who have
literally are a
got,
proper big boys game.
yeah, and me and my mate still play to this day, and he always has the great pattern as well. So I'll stick top of the screen, you stick bottom of the screen. We keep an eye out when the turkeys come along. You've got less health than me. You get the turkey. I'll save the next one, and it's just that whole atmosphere to the game. Now, don't get me wrong. Final Fight is a brilliant game. Um, it's a great version on the Mega CD slash Sega CD, but it looks like an arcade beat 'em up. This color palette is an arcade beat 'em up. Streets of Rage is this dark, dingy back streets in it. It's just fantastic.
Mm. And where'd you go? Like a theme park, and
Yeah,
it just goes on of just like this, like what's next? What's next?
you'll
It's
always
so
have. I'm
good.
sure you have. Do you have a lift level in two? I'm sure you have a
Yeah,
lift.
there's definitely. I'm
And
pretty
me and
sure
my
there's a
mate
lift level.
always have our own little mini game where we see who can throw the most people off the
Lift
lift.
level with a bridge or something from
Yeah,
memory.
yeah. So we always have that where we can see who can throw the most people off. So we have a count. Oh, I've got three, four, oh, five. We
I
count up,
see.
see how many throw each as many off. It's a game that, as far as I'm concerned, hasn't aged. There's a reason if you haven't played this or you haven't played on Mega Drive, and but you've played Streets of Rage 4 on your PlayStation 4 or your on your Xbox One. There's a reason you can change it to the pixel art on this because that's how good that game is. People still want to play it as it looked
Well,
original.
mate, when 4 came out, I actually went and dusted off the Mega Drive again and plopped 2 in for me and my son to play. Two's better than 4.
Mm. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. And it's just that scene they set as well, like you do in the first one where there's the city picture as it starts and it scrolls up and that music starts. I mean, me and Carlos, one of our brilliant sub members over on the UCP, we both bought the vinyls of it because the soundtracks are that good. The soundtracks are
Mm.
that good, absolutely superb. Um, and
That
I just,
kind of, it's got that kind of haunting 80s. They've nailed it right on because it's got that kind of haunting 80s cop thriller, New York 80s kind of feel to it. It's a thing of beauty. It feels concurrent with movies that were being made at the time. It feels concurrent and or better, as I said,
yeah,
than arcade games that were prolific at the time. Um, yeah, you get this home, you blink a couple of times, and it could be heads and shoulders with those games in the arcade, right? And
yeah,
this really was Sega fulfilling the whole bring the arcade home experience. And Streets of Rage 2 RGT, without, labouring it too much harder, is right up there in the top 5 for me in terms of like, obviously we mix this list up. You pick some, I couldn't pick others for that reason, but Streets of Rage would be in my Desert Island games for the Mega Drive for sure.
oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. Even if I could have, if I had to have a system and one game, it would be a Streets of Rage game. One or two, not so much three, but one or two.
Hmm.
And also music wise, composer Yuzo Koshiro, who's absolutely legendary. If you listening to this and you've already got a Mega Drive, you've already got these games, but you might not know this. Do me a favor, go on YouTube, type in Streets of Rage Live, and Yuzo Koshiro and his other composer play and mix the tracks live to an audience, and it is just sit down for an hour and listen. It's like a cyberpunk keyboard DJ set, but he plays the Streets of Rage themes, and when it starts and it goes boom, the music, Streets of Rage comes up on the screen behind him, just superb.
Really good.
One of the greatest video game music composers of all time, and you can
Agreed.
tell this is some of his best work. So yeah, Streets of Rage 2, George, absolutely perfect.
Hit me up with prices, RGT. Am I going to feel sick in the mouth or happy?
If you want a boxed complete copy, you're looking
Yeah.
sort of 28 to 32 pound, I think.
Wow.
Go about 30 pound complete, but if you want
It's
loose
crawling up,
cartridge,
isn't it?
12 to 15 pound loose cartridge. Now
Perfect window.
used to be a lot cheaper years ago, but I think with the popularity of Streets Rage 4, a lot of new gamers to Streets Rage wanted to go back and see what the originals were
We
like.
talked about it off air, but let's bring it in now. I think a lot of the games that are developed by Sega, I think, are games that would probably be more attractive to a younger owner coming through. I think they're the name that you feel safe. They're the names that are attached to the brand that you know. I think we talked about it earlier, and I think that's why some of the prices on the games that were of the moment, like Road Rash 2, have took a bit of a punishing, like
Mm.
hit. But don't let that put you off them. I think if you're a new gamer, a younger gamer, or someone who hadn't ever had a Mega Drive or thinking of getting one, yeah, they've got to get stuck in RGT.
Yeah, without a doubt. Definitely give it a go because they haven't aged at all. They're just brilliant games that play well. Beat 'em ups are beat 'em ups at the end of the day, and this is one of the best. This is one of the
Yeah,
best
so that,
ever.
I think you're pretty safe. Have you got an EA game coming next, RGT?
No, I haven't.
The one after that?
What have I got after that? How many have I done? I have done two, so it'd be three. Yes, one after that.
Right, well, I'm going to deposit this here because obviously we talked about Road Rash 2 early. EA didn't actually pay licensing fees for the Mega Drive games, and the carts look slightly different for that reason.
Mhm.
They managed to get hold of a Mega Drive and then reverse engineered it to the point where they could produce carts for said console without needing to pay Sega. This obviously enraged Sega, but luckily for us, some of the best games on the Mega Drive Stroke Genesis are from an inform EA
Oh
of
God, yeah,
this era. And as I say, if you're collecting, you're like, oh, I'm going to tune in, see what the Flashback Boys say. I'll get myself Comic Zone. That's official. Streets of Rage is official. RGT mentioned Sonic 2. That's official. Must have that. Must get that. We'll take a look in EA's catalogue because there's a lot going on in there.
there
Just as
is
a
a
heads
hell
up
of a lot.
outside this, there's games like there's 16-bit No Man's Sky in there, I think, with a game called Starflight from memory. I think
Starflight,
that was
I've got
produced
that.
by
Yeah,
EA.
yeah.
Uh,
That is an in-depth. That is a. I had that as a hidden gem because when I first played that, that is an in-depth game for what that is on that system. That is very clever. Very clever.
Super deep. They did a few 3D military sims. Word of warning, I would stay well away from them. They're vector 3D and they're going to be almost unplayable to a modern player, I would
Yeah,
say.
two
But
frames per
everything else,
second are a bit
even
buggy.
their kind of £1 sports games like your FIFAs, Loose, and your NHLs, your Maddens,
EA
hours of
hockey's
fun,
brilliant.
50p. Yeah,
Mm,
NHL 92, getting a dust up with your mates.
yeah.
There is really, they're in the wheelhouse.
Hmm.
They're a pound each. What we're bringing today is the big bangers, right?
Yeah. 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 Definitely without a doubt. Um,
What you got then, lover boy?
Next is the first iteration of a series that is, well, absolutely brilliant. They've done some clever things with the later cartridges as well, but I've come in with the first one, which is by Codemasters, and that is Micro Machines. Um,
Ah,
yeah.
is this not referred to as the J cart?
No, they didn't do that on the first one. They've done that from two onwards, I believe, or two turbo.
Oh, so this is the first one,
This is the first Micro Machines.
the
It's different.
OG.
The OG. Like George said, in later games, they done a J cart, which if you don't know what a J cart is, it had two controller ports on the cartridge itself.
So cool,
So
mate.
you could play four player by two in the system, two in the cartridge, which was no one had ever seen anything like that before. It's very
Not
clever.
without buying. They had multi-taps.
They
Sega
had
had a
multi-tacks, yeah,
multi-tap,
but not in a cartridge. It was just
and this just
impressive.
saved you that purchase, that
Yeah,
extra friction at the checkout of like, oh, do you want to play four player? Well, I might, yeah. Oh, you're gonna need this. None of that mess in
No,
here.
no.
Very forward
For
thinking,
a
very
game,
impressive.
yeah. And the thing is, Codemasters, I mean, David Darnell, when he invented Codemasters, was always so forward thinking because they could have said, oh, no, we'll make our own peripheral for that. We'll make our own peripheral for that and sell it. Oh, if you want to play four play, and they didn't. They built it all
What,
into
like
the
EA
game.
did with their sports games, you had to get their licensed four-way EA splitter that would only work with their games. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Codemasters were just fantastic for that sort of thing. Micro Machines, you may have remembered the actual toys of them, the little micro cars and
By
transporters, and you could,
Galoob and the
yeah,
fastest talking man in the world who did the commercials.
yeah, definitely. Um,
No, that was his. He was the world record
yeah,
fastest
I know,
talking
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, I thought you were
yeah.
just saying, yeah, he could talk fast, mate. I'm like, no,
Oh no, no, he was
he's a
literally.
real.
Um, and basically they made
Can I just
Codemaster.
say, I didn't know about Micro Machines, the toy, when the game was out. As an
Really?
adult, I stumbled across the toys during my toy collecting phase, and I've got an absolute stack of them,
Yeah,
and they are phenomenal. Things like little petrol cans that open up into a world, things like little toolboxes, things like spark plugs that open. Mate, Micro Machines are absolute fire. It's a subgenre of a game here I'm talking about. But if
yeah.
you want to have some cool things on your sidewall, nothing looks better than a Micro Machines 911, baby.
No,
Nothing.
it was brilliant. My mate had the transporter, I think, and you opened it up, and I can't remember what it was, whether it was a multi-story car part or something that opened up to, and you had all the different cars one side, and you could run them down the tracks, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. So
Really
when
cool.
so what they done with the game was they fed into that. So yes, you're top-down racing, but you're racing on like breakfast tables and you're racing on snooker tables because you are a micro machine. So you have to watch
Yeah.
out for the pockets on the snooker table and you don't fall down. Now, if you're playing, same if you're playing single player, but like if you're playing multiplayer with your friends, how you win is you get far enough ahead so they come off the screen and then you get points for how many times you get ahead, far enough ahead to also win the race as well. But it plays so well. Yes, it's top down, so you've got to remember your sort of if you drive an RC car, you've got to remember your left, right, right, left is a bit opposite when you're coming the other way. But it was so much fun, like the bathtub where you're in the boats and you have to dodge the sponge and little whirlpools, and they're so well designed that obviously they didn't have license for cereals and bits and pieces on the breakfast table, but you had one that looked like Rice Krispies, or I think it was called Toppers or something like that, and you dodged the cereal and whereas on a normal game you'd hit if you say on a normal race 16-bit racing game into the screen, if you hit an oil slick you'd skid out. This would have milk and slow you up, or you'd skid on a bit of milk. It was ingenious, the levels they done. um and it was so addictive. It was that competition that you could keep racing. If your mates come round, oh, stick micro machines on. Let's have a let's have a tournament on micro machines. You pick your character where you go. Obviously, later games, I believe Violet Berlin was in.
Yeah, I think
From
she was in that first J-Kart edition, was she in two?
I think it was two, yeah, or two turbo, one or two. But they went on done two. They done military as well. You could use tanks and shoot at each other and stuff. Again, like what I was saying for sensible soccer, it was just if you want a racing game but a multiplayer that's good fun, you aren't going to go far wrong with micro machines. Um, it's one of them games. I always say there's many a great game, but there's very few games you go back to. Now,
Mhm.
this is one of them games you will always go back to
Yeah,
because
agreed.
it's just endless fun. What about you? What sort of experience did you have with micro machines, George?
Not with one, obviously. I think I've revealed that as we've chatted, but with its subsequent sequels and its first iteration on the PS1, lots of good memories with the game. On the Mega Drive, the J Kart, that was round at friends. I'll be probably plugged in the fourth hole. Oh yeah, if I was lucky. Um, And do you know, it was one of those games that blew me away. Obviously, the ability to play it with friends elevates it. I think I probably picked it up single player on the SNES a bit later on. It just wasn't the same. Same with this PlayStation version. Unless you're playing with a friend, it feels a bit hollow. Um, I've recently played them on my own as an adult, and there's some entertainment there. It's a little bit of a challenge to get through, but the real fun is with friends. I like the game. I like the toy. I think the presentation that Codemasters did with the franchise that really has no rights being as liked as it is by grown men. This really is kids' toys that we're talking about here, RGT, but it's insanely one of the best, most playable, family-friendly multiplayer games you can get on the system.
Oh, without a doubt.
I would steer people towards the J-Kart version for that reason, but equally so, I can doff my cap to the OG as it walks through
Yep.
the door. No
Yep.
issues.
Yep. Definitely. I went with one just because it's introduction to the series and it's got them iconic scenes that you remember with the
Too right.
pool table and bits. But definitely, I think once you've played one, you'll definitely want to be hunting out the others. Um, Now, if you want to purchase this boxed complete, you're looking sort of 18 to 23 pounds, something like
Bloody
that.
hell, I wasn't expecting
Yeah,
that.
but again, if you're happy for a loose cartridge, £5, £6, something like that. But you wouldn't pay no more than
Hmm,
£6, I wouldn't have
that's
thought.
better. That's
If you're
more
not
like
worried
it.
about the boxes, and I mean, to be honest, like what I've done on my loose carts, go on Etsy now. You can get some lovely stands that hold 8, 10 cartridges at a time, so you can still display them nice. You don't necessarily
Mm,
need the boxes, and you can get
yeah, because the
you can get a
labels are good
very
on Mega Drive.
yeah, you can get a very cheap collection that looks good on the shelf. You don't necessarily need all the shelf space taken up with the boxes. So if you're not worried about that, get it loose, £5 to £6, and away you go. Absolutely brilliant.
Perfect. Perfect.
What you got next then, George?
Great choice. Well, my next one, RGT. And again, I know we mentioned Mike Rouse's interview episode where he talked about collecting for the Mega Drive, but before we rip into this one, me and OG Tom back in the day did a history of the Sega Mega Drive. So hop on to the main channel, UCP, Unofficial
That's a good
Controller
one.
Podcast. That is probably one of the best ones we ever produced, to be fair. We did the history of the Mega Drive. You should like that, so go give that a listen. Um, in the meantime, and we are updating the history of, I am slowly, as I remember, but it will be done. They will end up with the classic Vault episode style, so look out for that. The game I'm bringing in next, RGT, is a Konami game. Oh, George, what's this? Well, calm down. Never too far away from an 80s, 90s style icon. Let me bring in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Or if you're from the UK, you may know these as the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, which is the version of the Hyperstone Heist that you would be picking up. Yeah, ninjas are dangerous. But what you need to remember is you need to get Hyperstone Heist. I don't know why, but in the UK we decided that the idea of a ninja was so deadly to a child.
I have to be a
Just the
hero.
concept of ninja that Turtles had to be rebranded as Hero Turtles that wielded ninja weapons. I don't really know what's going on there, but listen to me now. This era of Turtles, especially the one that was displayed to us as kids on TV, is the least threatening cartoon you'll ever see in your life. There's
Yeah.
barely any fisticuffs in it, and considering these guys, like in the intro, look absolutely badass, they spend a lot of the time just playing pranks on each other and
Mm.
loafing around, if I'm honest with you. But
Eating pizza.
eating pizza, their insane success in the 90s fueled their drive towards video games. Now we all know about the NES versions and we all know about the Amiga versions and different versions that we got along the way in Mega Drive. For me, on the Mega Drive, if you're gonna dip your toe in the TMNT world, it needs to be firmly into the Hyperstone Heist shoe. Now, this game, a beat 'em up, much like Streets of Rage. So if you enjoyed that, you were gonna love the hell out of this game if you got nostalgia for the Turtles. This game looks $1 million from the get-go. Yes, compared to Turtles in Time, yeah, it maybe doesn't have as much glamour, but do you know what? It's almost got as much glamour, and at times it's got more. I prefer the stylings and the kind of sprite work in this one. It feels more in line with the cartoon, in my opinion. Um, you get to see some of your favorite cartoon bad guys along the way, literally in their cartooning in forms as well. So it does have that sort of iconic feel. You see Shredder, obviously, he looks like the TMNT cartoon version. You see Bebop and Rocksteady, equally the same. I think in like the third or fourth level, you end up fighting the maybe one of the guys from the film. I can't explain that to you. Just go with it. You fight the Gator guy from the cartoon. I think you fight Baxter Stockman as well. So absolutely get all over this. The gameplay itself is rewarding. Obviously, you've got to collect pizzas for health. Stay away from the sewers because you fall down them, even though that's where you live. It does take life away. Go figure that one out. Who would have thought your own home is damaging to you, RGT? There's no other game where that happens. Fall in
Hmm.
the sewer? No, mate, you're dead. But I live here. No, you don't. Um,
Not in this one, you don't.
not now. No, not no. But it's on must forget it. So yeah, I think the game's really cool. I think there's some really fun sections in it as well. Obviously, you can pick any turtle you want. I'm always going to pick Donatello because, in my opinion, he is the best turtle. Um, RGT, did you play this back in the day? Because not many people did.
I didn't play it back in the day. I played it a lot later on.
Yeah, me too.
I'd always heard a lot about it. I didn't know anyone that owned it back in the day, but like I say, later on when I played it, straight away I thought, oh, this is people talk about having an arcade game at home. This is an arcade game at home.
Yes.
Looks very good. Like you say, it's got that very close to the cartoony artwork where you sort of think, I think these the guys at Konami made this were obviously Turtles fans and obviously watched the show because they knew the details to make
A
it
little
look
bit
like
more
them.
to more, a little bit more like the Turtles in Time's Turtles to me. Like, yeah, they are the turtles from the cartoon, but they're more the Turtles in Time turtles.
I know what you
Whereas
mean. When they
the
sort of jumped and
Hyperstone
that, they had their own sort of animation that was different to what you'd see in.
and maybe some of the artistic stylings as well. Whereas Hyperstone Heist, the minute I put that on, it just all felt
Mm,
right.
yeah.
Turtles in Time is the better product. I'm not going to say that, but Hyperstone Heist runs it a very close second, and depending on how you play and your length of time with it, you may end up edging that Hyperstone Heist is the better game.
Hmm.
It doesn't have some of the fancier sprite work into the screen, but everything else is there.
Yeah. Yeah,
And some
definitely.
more bits that you don't get in the other versions, the arcade or Turtles in Time version. So yeah, mate, a lot of good things going on in that game.
I think as well, I mean, like a couple of my selections, Micro Machines, for instance, Sensible Soccer have sort of their own controls which you have to learn. I think games like Streets of Rage, Sonic 2, for
Mm,
new gamers coming into the system, and especially with Hyperstone Heist, it's a game that you can plug straight in and you know what you're doing and you're playing straight away. It's got
mm.
that ease of use straight away. It's an arcade beat 'em up. It plays very well. It looks fantastic. It's very well sought after. It's one of the more collectible titles for the system. But I think if you get it, if you're a Turtles fan and you're into retro gaming, I think it's probably a bit of a grail that it'd be good to
I
find.
think in a Venn diagram, you're into 80s, 90s. There's a strong chance you're going to be into Turtles. That means the console to collect is probably the Mega Drive. You need this game.
Mm.
But RGT, I feel you're going to kick me in the shells with the price.
It's a big boy. It's the most expensive one we've got on the list. Yeah, I think if you want this box to complete CIB, you're going to be looking 150 plus, probably maxing out at about 180. I think,
Wow, I've got this no manual. I've got it box no manual. I'm sure this is what I've got.
yeah, if you've got a box no manual, you're probably looking just over £100, I would imagine.
Oh my God, that's
I
obscene.
I think this is one of them games where if you've built a bit of a collection up and there's a few you want to trade, keep an eye out for this because this crops up quite often at gamer markets, games conventions. Take a few games with you as a bit of a trade, knock a bit of the edge off that, 50 quid cash with you as well. And then it's not so hard on the wallet. And you've also got a game that is just, as a top tier collector's item for the Mega
Have
Drive.
you got this in your collection?
I haven't, no.
What?
I had the chance to buy this when we were at, no, it was the year before we done OLL. So it was the OLL 22, I think. I was there. And I think it was up for £112, I think. So I probably could have got it for 100. And I didn't. But now looking at the prices, probably wish I had done. But no, I haven't.
Absolutely.
That's priced me out of the market a bit for that now. But yeah, I think if you go loose cartridge, I think if you could get it between £45 and £60, you've got a deal on that. I think if you can get that loose cartridge for that, anywhere around the sort of £40 to £50 mark, you've done well. And I think for what game it is and what we pay for games nowadays, £40 to £50, I don't think it's I don't think it's terrible for the game. I think it's for a very well sought after game, and that's not a shelf filler. That's a game you're going to play and you're going to enjoy.
Oh yeah, I don't think any of these that we brought today
No, no,
are anywhere close to shelf filler.
no, no.
It's
They're
not Art Alive, is it?
no, no. It's this is a game you're going to play and enjoy. Yes, it is on the pricey spectrum, but we've chucked it in there because if you're going to be into the Mega Drive stroke Genesis, and you want a couple of the hard hitters, then don't look no further than
Get them now because they're only going one way.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So great
I reckon
choice
I
as
picked
well.
this up in 2012 and it was about 40 quid and I winced then because I thought that's insane money for an old Mega Drive toy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that. There's a few of my games that I picked up for literally a few pounds, and when we were doing this, I was going through and checking a few of them, thinking, "Oh my God, why did that go to that price?" I mean, Comic Zone, for instance. I mean,
Mm.
that was never an expensive game, but it's got that sort of unique. I don't know if these.
I think it went because it was late to the system. I think it went under the radar for nostalgia for quite a long time. Now with all these kind of hidden gem ones and retrospectives, it's because it's a Sega produced game. This is a point I was making earlier. It forces itself into the conversation
Mm,
because it's a late age game that forces itself into the conversation. Therefore, onto most people's, well, I've got to have that list. Its price is creeping up, and I think that'll accelerate in price.
mm. Yeah, I think you're right. I think also a lot of people say, "Oh, well, the price will come down because it's on Nintendo Online." I don't necessarily agree with that because I think people who didn't play it back in the day and are collectors will play it on their Switch Online and go, "I've got to have that." And
Yeah, I think it's actually made it worse.
yes, yes, it has because it seems to have spiked since it's been on there, but still an affordable way to play. But yeah, great choice with the turtles there.
Okay, what's your next one, friend?
My number four is a little game by EA called Desert Strike.
Oh, yes, sir.
Just the
The,
introduction music on this gets you in the mood to play this game.
everything about this game is so good,
Um,
especially of the era as well, Gulf War One.
Gulf
Oh
War
my
One and
God.
everything. Yeah, they hit on an era there, and the game came out at the right. Not necessarily saying a war is good. Obviously, it isn't, but the actual marketing of the game was at the right time. Um, if you haven't heard of this before, be surprised if you haven't. But Desert Strike is an isometric helicopter game, and they went on to do jungle and urban and different games. Even went into the 3D systems. But Desert Strike, where it started for me, is the game. Again, I know I'm repeating myself. I know I said it a few times, but the first time I saw this playing, and I was just like, whoa, that's, it's isometric, but it makes it look 3D to you from the angle of the game. And you're like, whoa, this is. And the sound effects of the chopper and the ladder coming down to rescue your hostages. You get them up. And then you follow your missions, look at your map. Oh, I've got to destroy the satellite towers, off, unpause, go over to one, make sure save your bigger missiles. Were they Tomahawk missiles? I can't remember. I think they were.
No, they wouldn't have been that, but I can't
I
remember what
can't
they
remember what
were.
they were
But
called. The
you
better
had some
missiles,
missiles, rockets, and guns, didn't you have?
machine
Didn't you
guns,
have?
yeah. And you'd occasionally come across the enemy in jeeps and stuff, and they'd try and shoot you with
Mate,
the
can I
guns.
just
And
interrupt? Because the way the missiles came off the rail
yeah,
and then kind of angled down and shot at the same.
yeah,
When a missile comes off the rail on a whatever platform it is it's being launched from, there's a moment where it's being affected by inertia and gravity before its
yeah,
own propulsion systems kick in.
yeah,
The
exactly.
fact this drops from the rail and then then
Yeah,
comes, it's only a minuscule detail, but it's absolute
yeah.
fire.
They knew, and you're in like, was it not an Apache helicopter? I suppose.
Yeah,
Um,
it was launched off the back of, I guess in that era it would have been like an Oliver Hazard Perry or an OHP frigate or
mm,
something like that you come off because it's not an aircraft carrier, it's a little
yeah,
frigate just off the
yeah,
coast of this desert realm, isn't it? And then you come
yeah.
in across the sea and oh mate, I've
And
interrupted you. I'm
no,
sorry.
you're right. It's for me. There was that degree of learning, but it was fun. I'd always play with my mates. We'd take in turns on goes, and he'd come round mine. bring a bottle of pop, big bag of crisps. We go, right, Desert Strike. Now, what we got to do, right, we've got to get to here. We've got to get these shot. We've got to come back. Oh, don't forget though, because you do it the first time, you go, oh, I've run out of missiles. Oh, we need to get ammo. Right, let's find the ammo and then we'll destroy that, go and get the ammo, then we'll go up there and you plan out your route, how you work it, make sure you don't take too many hits, take that Jeep out before you go to there, and you actually plan out your mission like you would a mission. You end up actually doing this little planned route. And it was just, I'd never played, I mean, I'd played, the game I'd played before that was Super Thunderblade. You take Super Thunderblade and put it next to Desert Strike, you think you're on two different systems. Do you
You
know what I
do.
mean? How is this on the
Super
same
Thunderblade
system?
feels very Master System-y on the Mega
It
Drive.
it does, and that just the blocks getting bigger as
Early
they come
game, early
towards.
game, early
It's
game,
an
though.
early game, but that is the only sort of helicopter game I'd played. So then I played this and was just like, whoa, hang on, this is a bigger boys helicopter game. This is, you know, this is a proper war scenario where you got to work it out, and then you go through the different levels of things you have to do, and it's in depth. It plays very well. Like I say, like I've said to all these games, if the music's good, the sound effects are good, it plays well, the controls are good, and you've got a good story to it, a mission base, you can't go wrong. And this again is probably, higher echelons of what games you should buy on the Mega Drive. Yes, it's on the Super Nintendo as well. There's a version on Super Nintendo. But yeah, Desert Strike for me is just another game that I can always go back to and have so much fun with it. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
I was obviously frothing at the mouth to talk about Desert Strike. It would have been on my list. The whole Strike series on Mega Drive is special, but Desert
Yeah.
Strike is the real deal.
Mm,
Um, for me, at the time, I came at this a bit snobby because I was playing, micropro simulators on the Atari ST,
mm,
and I went to a friend's house and they had Desert Strike, and initially, I was a bit like, but then you start to notice all the graphical details, and you realise that although it's presented in an isometric arcadey way and is easy to play, it's hard to master.
mm.
And the realism of the systems that you have to do, like first of all, you take the missiles down, then you take down the radar sites, and then you go through and you take down the other infrastructure. It's actually really cleverly put together.
Yeah.
The way that works across other levels, fantastic. The way that works across the wider Strike series, really good. But I say the Holy Grail and the starting point is here. From the minute that that game hits, with the Apache screaming from right to left with the words Desert Strike on the screen,
And that
you know you're into something a little bit sexy and
that
special.
music, especially that unique Mega Drive sound, that twangy sound that just fires straight in. You're like, whoa, hang on, we're
And
onto
the
something here.
graphical fidelity of that helo in the background that it's racing the past really sets the stakes for a high level piece of kit.
Hmm.
You get in, and the story of this rogue desert nation is kind of displayed in front of you. It's basically Saddam Hussein. If you squint, it is him. A little bit more talk, and then you plunge straight into it. Mission select screen off the back of that frigate, as I say. I don't think there's many more iconic 16-bit moments for the Genesis stroke Mega Drive than the opening level of that opening screen, and then the opening level of leaving that sort of crystal blue water as you fly across that desert beach opening.
Brilliant.
It is definitely in. If you were to do like a mood board of Mega Drive, that's in it.
And for me, when you lift off that frigate and when you first play it and the noise of the chopper going wop, 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 as you go, you think, oh, that spine tingling when I first played it because I
And
was
I'll
like,
tell you
this is
one thing.
unbelievable.
And when you first take off and pull back on the D-pad, and you realize that the helo is kind of being pulled by its rotors, and you've got that kind of almost slick level of control as you
Yeah.
kind of pull back as the ship disappears and you spin and go. It, everything about the helo's movements from its takeoff and everything feel perfect. And then as soon as you take off and you're like, oh wow, this is great. But then as soon as you realize the freedom and fluidity of the movement that it gives you, and able to see that helo, because normally, as I said in your microprose games, you're sort of slammed up against a flat, almost 2D cockpit with a load of 2D buttons and dials that don't really mean a lot to you, and the tiniest little 3D render screen that you're actually looking through. Desert Strike fills your screen with
Mm.
glorious colours from top to bottom, from left to right. This thing is beautiful. I think I've said enough, but there's a lot of enjoyment there. And if you feel like you're a bigger boy or your dad or whatnot wants to come in and have a go, this is a game that's going to win him round, or it would have been in the day.
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, like you say, the controls are superb for controlling a helicopter. You think of an RC helicopter and you think of the four ways and all that. You think, oh, God, it's so complicated. This was a D-pad and three buttons, and you're controlling it with a D-pad. Yet it's so smooth and fluid, and how you can guide around enemies and aim and come back. It's so cleverly done. It is
Mm.
really well done. Um,
Your mastery as well, like when you first play it, you are a bit clumsy. You could get through the level, no
mm,
problems. But when you start to get better, the mastery that you can weave this helo with is magical. It's a
yeah,
big moment. What
yeah.
hit me with the price, RGT? How hurt me?
If you want this complete and boxed, you're looking £8 to £10. If you just want a loose cartridge, you wouldn't pay no more than £5 for this.
How
Uh,
is this 10 quid?
I know.
No disrespect to Hyperstone Heist, but Desert Strike is, in my opinion, light years ahead of it. It's so much better game.
Yeah, yeah. It's a not an isometric helicopter game. When you say it like that, sounds how does that work? But it does work on a controller just with a D-pad. It works so well.
And
You
it's
know.
got that kind of testosterone Top Gun feel to it in the mission
Oh
briefing
God, yeah,
area.
yeah.
Tom, if you go back and listen to, I think, the OG episode where we talked about the Mega Drive, I think Tom may recount a story where a young friend of his dad was a helicopter pilot or some sort of pilot in the Gulf War, and it added an extra special sense of extra super secret sauce to it when they played it. Yeah, he got a lot of memories for that.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's magical, mate. Yeah. Um, I guess it's me to round out my list then, is it?
Yes, your last one on the list here, I think, George.
Okay, well, this game, late arrival again. I seem to be showing all the blue spines here. I don't know what's wrong with me, RGT, but walking in with another blue spine bad boy, it's Rystar. Sega knew they needed a mascot to compete with Mario. First out the gates, but not off the drawing board, was Rystar, a game and a concept they got quite far with, and then kind of parked as they ran with Sonic. A bit later on, under another project name that escapes me, they picked up the Rystar package um, and refactored it. Now, this game probably more closer linked to sort of Knights really on Sega Saturn in terms of its colours and its presentation, but this game looks magical. It's got the same level of graphical fidelity and colours on screen as maybe Sonic 3, but it's a lot steadier. Your character is a star, obviously, and you have these kind of floating limbs, a little bit like, if I may say, Proto Magnium Rayman
Yeah, he's very
RGT's
Rayman, very
Rystar.
Rayman. Yeah.
Um, but anyway, Sega did it first, and you navigate. His kind of USP is that he can grab things, and through the medium of his gloves, he can grab and spin and slide and climb. And Rise Star is a different change of pace to its cousin Sonic. It's a slower game, probably more inclined to say that Sonic 1 after the Green Hill Zone was basically a really punishing platformer that lulled you in that it was going to be this rip sorting hypersonic rip through the game, and then basically made you jump lava for the next 10 hours. It was absolutely brutal with Sonic 1.
Yeah.
But its slower paced platform levels I think are more akin to what you get with Rise Star, but Rise Star's a little bit more forgiving in
Mm.
terms of its navigation and everything. Rise Star again is another one of those late Sega games to the Mega Drive that just looks phenomenal.
Oh, it does.
It's developed in-house, and again, for that reason, no doubt, as I said, I feel like these Sega produced and developed titles are probably the ones that people probably gun for more, and hence the reason why we've chosen them, but hence the reason why I think our GT is going to absolutely crush me in a vice with the price when we get there, but we'll get there. Um, if you want to change your pace or Sonic's not your scene, there are alternatives on Mega Drive. You've got Rocket Knight Adventures, aka Sparkster, but for me, Rystar is the one that kind of says, "Hey, I see you. You're a classy guy, lady. You like a slower pace. but you want your Mega Drive to sing.
Mm.
Ristar's your game. Um, I take it from what you've talked about RGT and your exit point from the Mega Drive that you never probably had Ristar in its when it was
No,
current to the Mega Drive.
no,
Have you picked it up since, and what's your mileage with it?
I haven't. The only time I've played it at a convention before.
Mm,
Because I'd seen it on so many. Everyone knew about Star, and I'd seen it on so many, hidden gems and Mega Drive videos on YouTube, and they had one set up at a convention with all the consoles. I thought I'm gonna have a go with it. And I remember when I first started playing it, thinking this looks better than what it should on a Mega Drive. It
yes.
looks the color palette is phenomenal. The colors pop
It's
on this
Sonic
game.
3 in terms of the amount of colours on screen it
Yeah,
feels. Like the greens and the variation of the greens always leads me back to Sonic 3 in my
yeah.
mind.
It's and with your star as well and his movement, and you just think the colors absolutely pop, and they have no right to look like that off a cartridge 16-bit game at all. I
No.
mean, I've seen a lot lesser colors on 2D platformers on the PlayStation. Do you know what I
Well,
mean? And the
just
Saturn,
think as well for a minute, this was sort of concurrent with, I'm guessing, Donkey Kong Country, but more importantly from a Sega side, is it Vector Man, which was their
Vector Man, yeah.
pre-rendered version? Oh,
Mm.
Brightstar makes that look like garbage.
Yeah, I think Vector Man was a clever bit of development, and they were trying to see if it worked on the system and bits and pieces. But if you just want a really good, like you say, slow paced, but more, I'd say, a tactical platformer
Yeah.
that's really
I've never
colourful.
heard that term before, but I like it. I think you
Mm,
should trademark it. Tactical
a
platformer.
tactical platform. There you go.
That's
A
perfect
new genre. A new genre.
because
There we
it's
go.
not a straight up platformer. This is why
No.
I was kind of struggling to pigeonhole Ristar into something. And that's why I chose that kind of, as I say, Sonic does some bait and switch on. You've done it Sonic 1. It's a bit
Yeah.
naughty, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
Well,
bit
this I
naughty.
went into this thinking I was just going to play like a Sega Sonic game, and then after dying, I said, "If oh, hold on, no, you've got to go at this a bit different. This game,
You got
you
to
got
slow right
you got
down.
to slow down and pick your moments. You can grab your enemies and bits." And I just thought, this is very unique. And again, like I said with the other games, great controls, unique controls of what you do. It's almost got that sort of Kirby
That
sort of
grab
feel
and
to it.
pull
Yeah,
technique, I don't think they ever really they played with it again on that 32X game, Sonic no, Chaotix,
yeah,
Knuckles
yeah,
Chaotix, I think
mm,
it's called. There's like a dragon pull mechanic there, but it's different. This is
yeah,
like your it's a bit Kirby-esque. Like I say, there's a few
yeah.
things going on with Rise
That's what
Star.
I
It's
was
a
saying.
bit
Yeah, it's like Kirby. Yeah, it's got that
little bit
Kirby-ish.
Kirby-esque, but then
Mm,
he's also got Rayman stuff going on with his
yeah,
also the way he kind of navigates around the level as well
yeah,
with that.
and
And there's some screen. I feel like there's some sprite work going on with like some scroll scaling of sprites in a way when he does his rotations.
mm, yeah, yeah, definitely. It's they knew how to get the most out of the Mega Drive by this time,
Yes.
and Rystar shows that. And yes, it's unique but good controls, looks fantastic. It's just that slower paced platformer that's just great fun to play and work your way through at no
I mean,
silly pace.
I'm
It's
excited to know actually if this is on the. I'm when you said that you were going to let us know which of these are on Nintendo Online. I'm actually quite pumped now to see if you know what's on there. RGT. I'm quite hyped.
yes. Well, I'll go through prices first.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and your last game, lover.
oh yes. Well, we'll do the prices on this first. Rystar. Unfortunately, if you want that box to complete, you're looking 80 to £90, 95 for a minter.
Bloody hell!
Yeah, loose cartridge. I think if you can get that for £25, you've done well, but expect 20 to
I
£30.
can't see. You see, this is where I see a little bit of a. I see a turn in the water here because if you're going to get Rise Star and you're going to pay $95, you're probably all in, which means that the loose version for the players starts to. You can see a massive leap there
Mm, yeah, yeah, definitely.
because it is so collectible, I guess. Now we've talked about and I've thought about it retrospectively. Of course, it's going to be worth that, but because it is, the cart actually quite cheap considering. I think that's a
Mm,
fair price.
yeah, 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 definitely. I think that's a lot of game as a very good game for the money. And like I say, if you did pick that up at a convention for £20,
Mm.
And I don't want to sound like £20 isn't a lot of money. It is, but for how far it goes in gaming nowadays, £20 quite a good price for that game. I think for
Yeah,
at
I
least
think
what.
I think 20 quid for Rice Star's a very fair price. I think
Yeah,
you'd be very happy with that.
yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
do.
so. I
All
think
right,
so.
RGT, blow me bloody doors off, mate. What you bringing in? What you rounding this absolutely blistering top 10 out with?
Well, I've gone a bit left field on this, and I think
Uh-oh, this could
no,
end in tears.
no, I think this is a no-brainer. I think if you're in this for the games, right, rather than the CIBs or the collectability of this,
Yeah.
I have gone with, and specifically there was a few versions of these, different ones, but I've gone with this one because I think it's the best one. I've gone with Mega Game 6 Volume 1. Now the
That's an int
reason, yeah, the reason I've gone with this because if you just want to play games on your Mega Drive Genesis, this has World Cup Italia 90. This has Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Revenge of Shinobi, Super Hang On, and Columns on this on one cart.
I can get behind quite a few of those actually.
Yeah, I think that's why I picked this one. There's Mega Games 3. It's got three games on, which you'll have a couple of good ones, and in columns, and there's various ones. But I think this one,
The Altered Beast.
yeah, so this one for having Golden Axe, which is a great game. Streets of
That's the
Rage,
top.
fantastic. Yeah,
Streets of Rage is top.
Revenge of Shinobi,
That's top. Although mileage may vary, it's punishingly difficult.
Super Hang On, which
That's
is,
top.
and then you
It's
got
actually bloody
columns.
good on the Mega Drive. And
Yeah,
columns, do you know what?
I quite like playing
It's
columns.
Sega's Tetris.
Yeah.
The columns itself, for me, is super iconic as a box art or a symbol or a logo in terms of like old Curry's or Dixon's ads.
hmm
You
Um,
know it, baby.
and then it's got World Cup Italia 90, which is a good, fun top-down football game. It's not sensible soccer,
Mileage may vary.
but it's a decent enough game to have fun with. But what I'll also
Oh
say
yeah.
is Italia 90 is two players, Golden Axe two players, Streets of Rage two players, Revenge of Shinobi is one player, Super Hang On is two players, and Columns is two players. So you got all two-player games.
Super Hang On is two-player split screen. It's not though, is it? Or is it?
I don't know. It just says two players here. I've never played Super Hang On in two players mode before, so
No, me neither. I just wondered how that works.
um,
But it's two-player. They said it is.
yeah. And like I say, the reason I went for this is because this is a bargain for what you get. Yes, I think I've got Mega Games 1, 2, 3, and 6. I've only got volume 1 and 2, I think, of 6. I haven't got 5 because I think 5 is the one that's quite hard to get. It's quite expensive. But I mean, if you just want to have a original game, original cartridge, but have a lot to play on it, this is a no-brainer. I mean, absolutely brilliant. And because of the value of this is what gets to me now. Now,
Now, do the value.
well, if you want a purchase Mega Game 6, if you want this CIB mint boxed, £15. If you want a loose cartridge, £5. If you want this, all them
Show me again. Is
games.
it a Blue Spline 6?
Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah,
Oh, it is, yeah. Looks quite nice like that, doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. It does. That was there.
That's the Sega Pirate TV look.
Yes, and they had, I think they done three volumes of six, I believe, I think, or two volumes of six. I can't remember, but this is the first one. But I just think for even if you bought that boxed, £15 for even like Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, and Hang On is just worth that all day. And if it's your first cartridge, you've got six games straight off the bat to play while you pick out what other games you want to get. I just think it's unique with what Mega Drive done with these mega collections. Some of them are a bit, ooh, do you really want that? A couple of games are a bit, you know, not
They
great.
are.
But I just think that is the one for value for money for how many games are on it for what you'd play on there, and mostly all two players. I think it's a no-brainer, really. So yeah, I'd say Mega Games 6 is my final one there, George. Have you got any of the Mega Games cartridges or?
I think I've got a couple of Mega games. I always steered away from them and just picked up the game separately, although that is actually
Mm,
quite hard to do at times.
mm,
Um, but no, I've enjoyed the Mega Games packs along the way. Like I say, to me, when I was in my full collector mode, I was a bit like take them or leave them. If I stumbled across one, of course I'd keep it, but I never went out my way for them. But I think you bring a solid point. I mean, we've both brought, probably me more than you, games that have unexpectedly risen to the point of almost obscenity. But Mega Games 6 and the Mega Games collections are a great idea.
Hmm.
There's one other collection, and I don't know what it runs for, but it's the most cost-effective way, and it's often overlooked, of getting Gunstar Heroes RGT. Do you know the selection I mean? Altered
Um,
Beast, Gunstar Heroes, is it Flicky and something else?
yes, yes, I think it is the best way. I think that's, oh, what one is that?
That's still criminally overlooked in terms of pricing
Mm,
because
I do know what you
Gunstar
mean.
Heroes is a big game,
Yes, it is.
not
Yes,
only in terms of its price now, but in terms of its capacity on the cart.
without a doubt.
And it was labeled as like this almost impossible game, yet then it rocks up here, full frontal nudity, no questions asked on a Mega Games collection.
Yeah,
Someone someone explain that to me for a moment.
it's almost like sort of Sega's Contra, isn't it?
It, it is, but
Yeah,
graphically, it'll melt your Mega Drive.
yeah. It's some frame rate dips on that when you get into it.
Yeah, but do you know what? These compilation sets, obviously, let's focus on the one RGT brought in. Really good.
Mm.
Um, I actually thought the version of 6 I'm more familiar with had Ayrton Senna's on it, but like you say, there's different versions.
Yeah, there's a volume 2 and 3, I believe. There might be more. Correct me, community
Great. And do you know
corrections.
what? There's not a Toe Jam and Earl in sight.
No.
I mean, there's a plethora of sports games we could have brought in, and I don't just mean your FIFAs, I'm talking your NBA Jams and stuff like that. There's the Street Fighters and Mortal Kombats that we could have wheeled in. There's so
Mm,
many games for this system that actually wheeling it down to 10 must-haves, or definitely kind of you're going to get some really good mileage here. There's
mm,
an action games of beat 'em up, a couple of beat 'em ups that I've brought, the tactical platformer, which is the new term,
mm.
which is absolutely gangbusters RGT. Get that trademarked and on a t-shirt now. Road Rash 2, a racing game. There's plenty going on here,
Mm,
RGT. You've got a military shoot 'em up on yours.
mm,
You've got the classic Sonic 2 banger. You had to bring that. Absolutely, you did. A great mix there. You've got your football game, your obligatory Sensi.
mm-hmm.
Now I'm intrigued. What can I play from the comfort of my sofa using the medium of my Switch 2 and the Sega Mega Drive Online collection as part of the online
Well,
subscription?
you you won out on this. 3 of your games are on there.
Oh, which
Uh,
ones?
you've got Comic Zone,
Yep, Streets of
Streets of
Rage
Rage
2
2, and
and Bright
Rystar
Star.
are on there. I've got Sonic 2 on there, but also a few of the games off the Mega Collection on there, like Golden Axe. I think I can't remember. Revenge of Shinobi's on there. Yep.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage on there.
Yeah.
So you can, out of the Mega games, you can play a lot of those games on the Nintendo Online. So there is ways of playing these. If you didn't want to collect, I'd definitely play Streets of Rage 2, Comic Zone, and Rystar on there, especially Rystar for the price itself. Um,
And its unusualness. I think
it
if
is.
you've listened to this and gone, what the?
Mm.
It's on the perfect. Go check it out.
Yeah, if you're a Rayman fan, go check out Rystar. If you like that slower paced,
I
beautiful
think it's
looking
even slower
platformer,
than Rayman, though,
yeah,
isn't it? To
no,
give it his
it's
credit,
yeah,
like it's
that
a
is yeah,
plodathon, isn't it? But
yeah, it
hey,
is. But it's if you
it's
like
still
that style of
punishingly
game,
difficult, though, isn't it?
oh yeah, you've got
Let's
to
not
think
beat
about
around
it.
the bush.
You've got to
Yeah,
think about it, But it's yeah, it's very good. It governs the price, but not a lot of people tend to talk about it too much nowadays. So definitely give it a check
no.
out. I'll run back through what we had. I had Sonic 2, Sensible Soccer. I had Micro Machines, Desert Strike, and Mega Game 6 Volume 1. George had Road Rash 2, Comic Zone, Streets of Rage 2, Turtles, Hyperstone Heist, and Rystar. So they were our 10 that we think, if you're going to get into Mega Drive / Genesis collection, they're the 10 we think you should have. Um, I enjoyed that. I think we'll do a bit of housekeeping before we end the show. Um,
Yes, tidy up the bin.
yeah, don't forget, like I say, we've got our wonderful Discord, the Unofficial Controller Podcast Discord. Check out our Instagram, Unofficial Controller Podcast Instagram or Retro Gamer Thomas Instagram, where we both have link trees to get you into that Discord. If you're not on either of those, you can email us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. We can send you a link or chat about the shows. If you want to comment on the shows, you can through the medium of the podcast and leave a comment. It will not show who's left that comment. So if you'd like us to mention you on the show, make sure you leave your, whatever your tag is or your name at the bottom, and we'll talk about that on there if you like the show or any games you've played. Check out our website, Unofficial Controller Podcast website. It's unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. There's a section of flashback on there. There's events we've been to. There's our challenges, challenge accepted, bits.
Your hidden gems, mate.
Hidden
for the
gems
retro
is
listener,
on there. Yeah, there's a little bit of everything on there, and that's building as we go. And as of recording today, we are now currently on TikTok. So check out Unofficial Controller Podcast TikTok.
My God.
We'll be having reels and bits and pieces on there, so make sure you check that out for a bit of fun, and our funny little videos we'll be putting on there of clips.
Are you real?
And stuff. Am I real? I don't know. Am I? Am I real or am I AI? You don't know.
I'm not real.
No, you're not. You're AI through and through. But yeah, so a little bit of housekeeping. Thanks to everyone.
Back catalogue for console retro history ofs and making ofs, by the way, if you are mildly interested in this content. There's a little bit more of it there if you've run out of Flash UV. We're trying to give you as much as we can weekly.
Yes.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, so jump over to Unofficial Controller Podcast, download the back catalogue. There's over 300 episodes on there. Look, it's over retrospectives and history ofs and bits and pieces. Fantastic shows.
Recommend one show from the UCP back catalogue for them to go check out right now.
I did like the history of the Mega Drive. Fantastic one. Bit on piece with this, but yeah, very good. If you listen to this, go and search that out. And while you're there, download a few others as well while you're there, because you'll enjoy it. Very good shows. Yeah, so I think we're about there. Like I say, thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks for downloading. As always,
thank you.
Thank you, George, for joining me on this wonderful nostalgia trip with Mega Drive.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
I hope you like our recommendations. Yes, there will be recommendations here where people go, oh, you haven't said that. You haven't said that. We had to limit down to 5 each. And that's what we went with. There's many more we could do. And don't forget, we can revisit these. We've done PS2 now. We've done Mega Drive now. We will come back and do different consoles, and we'll come back and revisit consoles, because consoles like the Mega Drive and PS2, we could do top 10s for God knows how many shows, because so many good games on the system. So 100%. Don't worry, I'm sure your games will come up in a later podcast.
Or maybe they already have.
They might have already come up. Yeah, they might have already come up.
So get back in the Flash UV back catalogue.
Yeah. So on that note, I'd just like to say, flashback, the games you loved, the stories you forgot. I will see you next week, George, and see you later, everyone.
See you guys. Thank you. See you, RGT.
See you.
Flashback.